going to set and a result of arithmetic or subtraction or multiplication or divisions. In these operations, total result of your arithmetic operations is more than whatever the result stored by or held by the each register is more. That means if sixth bit of your d6th bit of your total result is 1 or d6th bit is set, in that case overflow flag it becomes 1. Here 7th bit is going to indicate sign bit. During the signed operations especially this overflow flag is going to work. And next is PSW.3 and PSW.4. This already I have explained in last class. These are going to used by the programmer to select the different register banks. Here you can see the register bank table, so we will understand how it is going to select the different register banks, and their address also is given in this table. In last class we have discussed all these table. How register bank is going to select by programmer depends on the combination bits of RS1 and RS0. Along with you can say that the register bank having different addresses. For register bank 0 the addresses start from 00H to 07H, and for 01 combination is going to select register bank 1, address is 08H to 0FH. For register bank 2 the bit combination is 1 and 0s, whose address is 10H to 17H, and finally last register bank is going to select it depends on the combination bits of RS1 and RS0 is should be 1. Like this the register bank going to select it by using these two bits in program status word. Next carry flag, this is next bit is carry flag is 7th bit of was PSW, and 6th bit is auxiliary carry, and again 5th bit is kept for user purpose or future use. And we'll discuss now auxiliary carry. Auxiliary carry is carry out if there is a carry from lower nibble to higher nibble, or else you can say that there is a carry from D3 to D4 bit during the addition and subtraction operations. This bit's going to set, otherwise it is going to clear, or you can by using the bit instructions you can going to clear this particular bit position of PSW using CLR PSW.6. Next carry flag, if there is a carry out from the D7 bit of your arithmetic operations, the carry flag going to become 1, or else you can set or reset or set or clear by using directly instructions such as set BC or and CLRC. Set BC means set bit carry flag, and CLRC means clear carry flag. If you explain this much you will get 10 marks, and here you have to concentrate main your bit structure of PSW should be correct. If you made any mistakes while drawing the bit structure, so you will lose all the marks, so please concentrate on this concept. Next we will go to register banks, how they are accommodated in the RAM. So you know already the RAM size is 128 bytes, the internal RAM. Out of that you have 32 bytes of RAM is reserved for only register banks, and those register banks is situated or located in the RAM is in different addresses with bank 0, bank 1, bank 2, bank 3 names, and each bank having total 8 registers. Each register size is 8 bits. That means each register can hold total 8 bits. Address is 0 to 7 for bank 0, and you can see that A to F for R7, R0 to R7 for register bank 1, and for bank 2 the address is 10 to 17H, and finally for bank 3 for R0 to R7 you can see the addresses is 18 to 1F. This is starting first section of internal RAM organization, and second part of your internal RAM organization is bit addressable. and finally general purpose section of your internal RAM. And here I explain 8051 registered banks. Next, stack. In exam they are going to ask, explain the stack operations, how stack is going to work, and what is meant by stack. Stack is a portion of RAM. It is known as stack. It is some internal RAM place to store your data temporarily during giving the service for interrupts. Okay, and it is going to store the data onto the stack by using the special function register is 8-bit stack pointer. That register is used for 8051 to hold your all internal RAM addresses. It is also called as top of the stack. I explain here the stack and stack pointer. What is meant by stack? Stack refers to an area of internal RAM. It is used to conjunction with the certain opcodes to store and retrieve the data quickly. That means how it is going to store the data, how it is going to retrieve data. By using stack pointer, it is going to use two instructions, push and pop, and using those instructions you can store the data, you can retrieve the data by using stack pointer from the stack, or you can say portion of RAM. Here operation of the stack and stack pointer. The operation stack pointer I explained with the figure. You can see the figure here, how to store the data onto the stack and how to get the data from the stack. This is the internal RAM organization that I have explained with the address. By default, or once your 8051 is reset, by default your stack is pointing to address location 07. Here, once you start storing the data by using the push data instruction, it is going to store the data into the next address location. That means first it is incremented by 1. That is I explained here the operation of the stack. It is incremented by 1. Next, SP address becomes 08 of your internal RAM address, and in that RAM location your data, first data is going to store. Like that, if you have 2 more datas, 3 more datas, for every time it is incremented by 1 first. Next, the data is going to store next address locations. For example, if you have one more data, if a return instruction push R6, R4 like that, it is going to store those address locations and next address location by incremented by 1. Next, like that again SP09. Again, if you have one more data to store into the stack, so again you have to write the instruction push along with the register name, and by using the contents of that register is going to store into the stack by incremented 1. Like that, if you want to get the data, first it is get the data, next it is decremented by 1. Here before decrement it is pop the data, that means retrieve the data from the stack. If whatever data you are going to store after giving the service to the interrupt, you have to get it back for normal execution of CPU. So for that you have to data retrieve from the stack. Here you can see that SP is 0A, so that is the last location you have stored while pushing the data. Now if you want to get the data, you have to write an instruction pop. You have to use a pop, and from that location you will get the data back to the those registers. Again SP is decremented by 1. First it is going to send the data, next it is decremented by 1. Like that, it is going to all the data is going to stored back to its original locations, and again the CPU will start its normal executions. This is the stack operations. Next we will see internal memory organization of 8051. Previously you have studied some register banks. Those register banks are present in the your internal RAM locations of 8051. Here they have explained internal RAM, it is 128 bytes of internal RAM is organized into 3 distinct areas. The first area is register bank areas. In those register bank areas you have total 4 register banks which having total 32 bytes from address 00H to 1FH to make up 32 working registers organized as 4 memory banks of each register, 8 registers each. So like that you can select any register banks for your programming by using the PSW bits, that is bits RS0 and RS1 in PSW determine which bank of registers is currently in use at any time when program is running. Next we'll see Second section, second distinct area is bit addressable area, which has a size of 16 bytes, occupies the RAM byte address start from 20H to 2FH. First area is end at 1FH. Next location is start from 20. After 1F, we'll get 20, 20 to 2FH, which is going to form total 128 bits in this location. You can store 16 bytes, convert into bits, it store totally 128 bits. Individually, you can store ones and zeros in this areas. That's why it is called as bit addressable areas, which specified by its bit address of 00H to 7F or 8 bits may fall in a byte address from the 20H to 2FH. I have given one example also. If you want, for example, if you want to store bit address of 4F, is also bit 7 of byte address is 29H. Addressable bits are very useful when program is generated to only remember the binary events. And last section of internal RAM is a general purpose RAM is above the area from 30H to 7F. Second section end at 2FH. So next is address start from 30H to the 7F, addressable as byte. It is third section of your RAM. You can see the below diagram, will understand clearly. I have mentioned in this diagram. You have to draw this diagram in the exam, okay, without any mistakes. It's very important question as per the external exam point of view. You can see internal RAM structure. Here I have explained all 32 bytes, that means 8 into 4. Each register bank having 8 registers. Address I also mentioned for every register banks. After that I have mentioned bit address area, then along with its address, starting address and end address, and finally general purpose area of 30 to 7F. Finally it has total 80 bytes. For last section it becomes totally 128 bytes. Number of bits is for second section is total 16 bytes into 8, it becomes 128 bits. You can store in bit address. Address start from for bit addressable 20H to FH. Here every address denoted by 0 is to 7FH. So you'll understand we can bit addressable areas. Next we'll go for and here internal ROM is 4 kilobytes. It is mainly used to store your code. So we have the address locations for this one. Code area is 00 to 0 FFH. This makes total 4 kilobytes. So by using program counter you can access every address of program code starting from 00 to FFFH. That means apart from 4 kilobytes you can extend your memory up to 64 kilobytes of RAM, because our PC size is 16 bits. 2 to 16 it becomes 65,536 locations. So you can extend your memory up to 64 kilobytes, or else you can connect external memory to access up to 64 kilobytes of ROM. That means you can store code up to 64 kilobytes, and 4 kilobytes you will get it in the on chip of 8051. Next, external memory. How to access the external memory? For that you should know the all SFRs, and here some of the SFRs currently you are using. That is accumulator is one is SFR, corresponding address also I am given. Here you can see that the address is 0H, it's bit addressable, and some of the SFRs are bit addressable, and you can see that here the SFR table. I will list out all the SFRs which are SFR a bit addressable and which are not a bit addressable. Those are not written, those are only byte addressable. That means every bit of these registers you can use in the programming. Which are not written, those SFRs only you can access as a complete byte. You can't access the individual bits of these registers which are not written in the remarks. You can see the remarks. Here some of the SFRs only have written bit addressable, some of the SFRs are not written bit addressable. Now this is the pin diagram of your 8051. Here you can see every pin what are the functions of every pin and how the pin are configured and how they are located, what is the pin number of every ports, and what are the functions of all POTI pins. It is POTI pin IC and it comes in dual in package. One side you have 20 pins, another side you have 20 pins, and name of all the pins I have written here. And out of 40 pins, here 32 pins reserved for only port functions. Here your left side of 8051 port 1 and port 3, and for right side you have one pin, that is port 0 and port 2. You can remember like this. And port 0 and port 2 is reserved for to access the address as well as data. That's why written here AD0 to AD7 for port 0. These are multiplexed data and address pins. That means you can access these pins as a address pins or data pins. Depends on the latch that there is one pin, that is you can see pin number ALE, that's 30 pin number ALE or PROG. This is to enable these pins as a address bus or data bus. So that's why if you are connected external memory to these pins, if you want to access data from those memory, you are going to use these are the pins port 2 and port 0. If our memory is more than 8 bit, that you have to take these port 2 pins to access remaining data, so remaining address of those data, because data access only 8 bits, because 8051 is 8 bit, you can access only 8 bit data from the 16 bit address. That's why you have 8 bit address is available from the port 0, remaining 8 bit address, higher bit address is available from the port 2. And for port 3, all pins are having distinct functions, you can say multi-functions. Port 3, that is 0th bit of port 3 to 7th bit of port 3, you can say that each pin having different functions, RxD, TXT, that is for serial port functions, receiving and transmission. Interrupt 0 and interrupt 1, it is hardware interrupts. You can give these give those pins, that is pin number 12 and pin number 13s, you can give the external interrupts. Next, timers, timer 0 and timer 1, these timers you can use for the programming, and you can use 670 pins of port 3, that is port 3.6, port 3.7, that is 6th and 7th bit of your port 3 used for write and read functions when you are connected external memories. If you want to read, you can read through these pins. You have to connect this pin to the external memories. You are connected ROM. If you are connected RAM, you can read as well as you can write. So in those cases, you have to connect both the pins. This is a pin configuration of 8051. You can see this diagram. This question is going to ask for 10 marks. Explain the pin configuration of 8051, and you have to explain all pin description, that is given here, descriptions of every pins, pin 1 to 8, pin 9, it is special pin, reset pin, to use to reset the microcontroller, or this is a hardware pin. Software also, by software also you can reset the microcontroller. And pin 10 to pin 7 known for port 3, and each pin or each port of each pins of every port perform the different functions like interrupt, timer, control signals, serial communication signals, RxD and TXT. I had already explained. Pin number 18 and 19 pins used for interfacing and external crystals to get the system to clock, the system clock. And pin number 20 is provides the power supply to the circuits. Pin number 21 to 28 is known as port 2, serves as the IO port. Higher order address bus signals are also multiplexed using this port. Pin number 29 is PSEN pin, that is program store enable pin. It is used to read signal from the external program memory. Pin number 30 is EA pin, stands for external access point, used to enable disable external memory interface. Pin 31 also ALE pin, stands for address latch enable. It is also used to demultiplex the address and data signal port of port yours. Here are given port 0. This is demultiplexing of address and data, that is done by using the ALE pin. Mainly these are main pins are used to while accessing the external memories. The EA pin ALE pin and PSE. This all pin number 29, pin number 30, pin number 31. These are pins are very useful while accessing the external memories. And pin number 32 to 39 is reserved for port 0. It serves as again IO port, and you have to understand, you have to remember port 0 and port 2 both are used for IO port, but port 0 is reserved for lower order address and data bus signals are multiplexed using this port. Port 2 is reserved for higher order address bus and data bus signals are used there. Sorry, only address, not data for port 0. This is our IO port usage in 8051. Total you have 4 ports, each port having size 8 bits. That means you have totally 32 pins. These pins are upon reset by default act as the input ports. If you want to write first 0 to the port, you have to become the output port. To reconfigure this port as an input, one must be sent to the port. To use this any of these ports as an input port, it must be programmed. So it can be used for input and output. Each pin must be connected external to 10k ohm pull-up resistors. This is due to fact that P0 is an open drain unlike P1 and P2 and P3. So open drain is a term used for MOS chips. In the same way has open collector used for TTL chips. So like this you can see the structure of port 0 only. Port 0 only have to connect external pull-up resistors, not for other remaining 3 ports. That's why you have to see this one diagram only for port 0. Here I have connected 10 kilo ohm resistor for every pin of port 0. It's open drain, MOS chip enabled, and here I have actually MOS chips in same way that open collector used for TTL chip. So here you have to connect externally, and I have shown here some program part for port 0, how to access the ports and how to use these ports to perform the different functions, and how to use port 0 as an input. For that you have to program writing 1 to all the bits of port 0, so configured first as an input port by writing 1s to 8. This is data received from that port and sent to the P1. This is a way to make it as an input port for port 1. And these are the main functions of ports. For port 3 again special functions for every pins I explain here. Corresponding pin numbers used for which are the different functions. Port 3 having total 8 bits, port 3.0 to 3.7, 3.0 and 3.1 function is RxD and TXD. Pin number 10 and 11 used for serial communications. 3.2, 3.3 of port 3 interrupt 0 bar, interrupt 1 bar, active low pin number 12 and 13 used for external interrupts. Port 3.4 and 3.5 T0 and T1, 14 and 15 used for timers, and 3.6 and 3.7 write and read enable. Read active low pins pin numbers is 16 and 17 used for read and write the signals for external memories. So you can use these pins normally for alternate function rules. This is for your regarding the IO pins of 8051. Next we will go for how to interface your external ROM and RAM. That means how you are going to access the external data, external memory, and what are pins are necessary if you want to access the different data from the external memory. If you connect RAM, if you connect ROM, how to access a code or how to access data from those memories. This is a diagram for 8051 address and data multiplexing. Here I am using 74LS373 is a chip or a D-latch. You can say that using this one you can demultiplex the address and data bus of port 0, and it provides lower 8-bit address bus and 8 data bus. Both are going to demultiplex by using the ALE pin that is connected to the your 74LS373 D latch. You can see in the diagram, and I have explained here. Normally ALE is 0, P0 is used as a data bus, sending data out or bringing the data in. Whenever ALE is 0, it is going to provide the total 8 data bus to access the data. If whenever the 8051 wants to use P0 as address bus, it puts the address on A0 to S7 on P0 pins and to activate ALE1. You want to use this pins as address bus, you have to make ALE1 that makes to access lower 8-bit address bus from the external memories. This is the how you are going to access the data from external memory, which are pins are necessary. To first calculate number of address lines. I already explained that by using 2 raised to n. Depends on 8k RAM bits. 8k means it converted into in the base of in the form of 2 raised to n. So 8k means 2 raised to 3. So n is equal to 3 means that is 3 1k is equal to 2 raised to 10 plus 2 raised to 3. So finally it needs 13 address lines. For 13 address lines, you have to take the pins of port 0 as well as port 2, because port 0 only provides 8 pins, that is A0 to A7. For remaining 13 means remaining 5 pins A8 to A12 will get it from the port 2. So port 2 is not a multiplexer, so directly connect to the address lines of your external memory. Port 0 to port 0.7, these are multiplex address lines. That's why you have to connect it through the latch, delatch, and by going to control by using the ALE pin. And next, if I want to access the program from external memory, you should use the PSEN bar, that's active low pin, which are connected to the output enable pin, chip select or chip element pins of PSEN, that is going to enable to access the program from the external memory. And 2 pins, that is P3.7, P3.6 is both are read and write enable pins. It is going to access the data, the external memories. This is how you are going to access the on chip and off chip program code access. This is again data ROM. So I have given some examples how you are going to access the data. Here I am explaining RAM. Previous case I explained regarding ROM. Here I am explaining the RAM. Only difference is you have to connect write pins here. In ROM you can access only data, you can't write any data. So here you can access the data as well as you can write the data to the RAM. So here how to access the data, how to from the external memory using MOVX at DPTR, A. DPTR is a register to indicates X means external memory. The DPTR going to access the data from external memory and you are going to store into the DPTR. And here accumulator is another register, it is going to access the data into the accumulator. Here in some cases you are accessing data through the accumulator, in some cases you can access data through the DPTR. Here you are accessing data from accumulator to DPTR. Or here first you have to get the data into the DPTR, again you can store into the accumulator, or else you can get the data from accumulator to DPTR. Both cases are valid in 8051. I have given just one example. Like that you can explain what are main 3 pins. You have to remember these 3 pins. First you need A, enable address, next you need PSEN bar, next you need ALE. Using these 3 pins you have to access the external memory. With this your first, second unit and first unit important questions are completed. And you'll go for next is third unit important questions is addressing modes. And total you have 5 addressing modes. It's very important as an exam point of view. Explain all addressing modes. You have to explain all 5 addressing modes, that is immediate addressing modes, direct addressing modes, register direct addressing modes, and register indirect addressing modes, index addressing modes. I explain all these addressing modes, and with an examples you can go through these concepts, how these addressing modes are going to work. Okay, this is important questions in this unit. So remaining part we will discuss in next class. Thank you everyone. Thanks for watching this video.